The air was thin, sharp, filled with a strange music. I stood there on the very edge of my greatest dream. So many seasons had passed. The summit was just a step away. I could almost taste the victory. Years of toil, years of sacrifice, they had all led to this single moment. The path behind was long, winding, marked by sweat and sometimes tears, but the view from here was breathtaking. Hope was a sun rising within my chest. Joy was a quiet river, flowing steadily towards the sea of fulfillment. The world seemed to conspire in my favor. Every sign, every omen, had pointed to this. The stars themselves seemed to have aligned. They whispered encouragement in the silent night. Ready. Then, something shifted. A subtle change in the atmosphere. The vibrant energy began to fade. The path forward, once so clear, started to blur. It was like a mist rolling in, silent, unexpected. An unseen wall seemed to rise from the earth, blocking the way. The dream, so near, felt suddenly distant. The music stopped. What was once certain became muddled, confusing. Progress, which had been swift and sure, halted, a dead stop. The silence that followed was heavy, not peaceful, but unnerving. Doubt arrived, uninvited, an unwelcome guest in the sanctuary of my mind. It did not shout, it spoke in hushed tones, soft whispers that were hard to ignore. These whispers found the cracks in my resolve. They seeped into my soul. They began to poison the well of my belief. The silence outside was now filled with this inner noise, a chorus of negativity. The whispers questioned everything, every step I had taken, every sacrifice I had made. Was it all for nothing? The challenges did not come alone. They multiplied, like stones in a sudden landslide. Each one was a blow. Each one chipped away at my remaining strength. Problems that seemed small before now felt insurmountable. Resources dwindled. Support systems wavered. The universe, which had seemed aligned, now felt actively hostile. It was a relentless assault. Friends and loved ones offered words of comfort. Their intentions were good, but the path of such a trial is ultimately walked alone. The storm was personal. It raged within my own heart. Their voices could not reach the depths of my despair. Only I could face this tempest, or be consumed by it. The loneliness was profound, a desert of the spirit. Then, amidst the roaring tempest, a whisper. It was almost imperceptible, a sound so faint that it could easily be mistaken for a figment of the imagination. Yet, it was there, cutting through the cacophony of the storm. So faint at first I almost missed it. It was like a secret, shared in the midst of chaos. A delicate thread of hope woven into the fabric of despair. It was not the voice of doubt, it was something else, a different quality. It carried a sense of promise, a hint of something beyond the immediate turmoil, a stirring in the oppressive stillness of my fear. It was as if the very air around me had shifted, bringing with it a new energy, a subtle but undeniable change, a tiny flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness. It was a beacon, however small, that pierced through the shadows, offering a glimmer of hope. It was a subtle shift, a gentle nudge that suggested change was possible, even in the face of overwhelming odds. A change in the rhythm of the storm. A pause. It was a momentary lull, a brief respite that hinted at the possibility of calm. A gentle breeze touched my face. It was a soft caress, a reminder of gentler times and the promise of gentler times to come. It was cool, refreshing. It carried with it the scent of renewal, a promise of rejuvenation. It carried the scent of rain-washed earth and distant blossoms. The fragrance was a reminder of life, of growth, of the world beyond the storm. It was a reminder of the world outside my pain, a world that continued to exist, to thrive despite the storm raging within me, a world that was still alive, still breathing. It was a world that held promise, that offered hope. This breeze was a messenger. It spoke of possibilities, it whispered of new beginnings, of opportunities yet to come. It hinted that the storm would not last forever, that there was a future beyond the present turmoil. It was a small comfort, but it was real. It was a tangible reminder that change was possible, that hope was not lost. The wind did not solve everything in that moment. It did not erase the challenges or the pain. The obstacles were still there. The doubts still lingered, but the breeze was a sign that change was in the air, a sign that perhaps the worst was over and better days were on the horizon. I remember a time, many years ago, It was a period of my life filled with both hope and despair, a time when dreams seemed just within reach, yet always slipping away. The memories are vivid, etched into my mind like the ink on the pages of my book. My book, the one that held my soul, was almost lost. It was more than just paper and ink. It was a piece of me, a reflection of my deepest thoughts and feelings. Each page was a testament to my journey, my struggles, and my triumphs. I had poured my heart into its pages. Every word was carefully chosen, every sentence crafted with love and care. It was my way of sharing my story with the world, of leaving a mark that would outlast me. It was my personal legend, my treasure, something that I believed would resonate with others, that would inspire and move them. But the path to sharing it was fraught with obstacles. But publisher after publisher said no. Their letters were polite, but firm. Each rejection felt like a blow to my spirit, a reminder that my dream was not as easily attainable as I had hoped. The words felt like stones, heavy and unyielding. They weighed me down, each one adding to the burden I carried, each rejection a heavy weight. It was as if the universe was testing my resolve, challenging me to see how much I could endure. My dream felt like it was turning to dust. The more I tried to hold on to it, the more it seemed to slip away like sand through my fingers. Doors closed in my face, one after another, each one a reminder of the barriers that stood between me and my dream. Hope dwindled with each slammed door. The light at the end of the tunnel grew dimmer, and I began to wonder if I would ever see it again. The words I had written, once so alive to me, now seemed lifeless, meaningless. They no longer held the same power, the same magic. My heart ached with a deep, hollow pain. It was a void that seemed impossible to fill, a wound that refused to heal. Was this the end of my journey? Had I reached a crossroads where I had to choose a different path, or was there still hope left for me? Had I misread the omens? Were the signs I had followed leading me astray, or was there a deeper meaning that I had yet to uncover? I walked by the sea, lost in my sorrow. The waves crashed, the gulls cried, my spirit was low. The vastness of the ocean mirrored the emptiness I felt inside. The wind was strong that day. It howled and roared as if trying to communicate something to me. It whipped my hair across my face. The sensation was both jarring and invigorating, a reminder of the forces of nature that were beyond my control. It tugged at my clothes, as if urging me to move, to not give up, to keep pushing forward, despite the odds. It carried the salty spray of the ocean. The taste of the sea on my lips was a stark reminder of the world outside my own struggles, and it spoke to me. In that moment, I felt a connection to something greater, a whisper of encouragement that reignited the spark within me. The wind began to grow stronger. It was no longer a gentle breeze. It had purpose now, a determined energy. It howled through the canyons of my doubt. It whistled past the peaks of my fear. It was a wild, untamed force, but this time, it did not feel threatening. It felt like an ally, a powerful friend who had come to my aid. It was the breath of courage. It began to push away the heavy clouds of doubt, the ones that had obscured the sun for so long. It cleared the air, allowing light to filter through. The gray shadows started to recede, the mental fog began to lift. I could see more clearly, not just the problems, but also the possibilities that lay hidden beneath them. After the wind, there was calm, a different kind of quiet than before. This quiet was filled with peace, not the silence of despair, but the tranquility of acceptance and renewed hope. The storm had passed, the debris had been cleared, the air was fresh, clean, full of promise. The world felt new again, reborn. The dream was still there, waiting. It seemed closer now, more attainable. It might have changed shape a little, refined by the ordeal, but it was still my dream, my treasure, and it shone brighter than before, because now I understood its true value, and my own strength. The journey had made both the dream and the dreamer stronger. The wind is always there. It is a constant presence, an invisible force that shapes our world in ways we often overlook. It is the breath of the universe, a reminder of the unseen energies that move through our lives. The constant whisper of change, urging us to adapt and grow with every gust. Sometimes, it is a gentle caress, a soft reminder of the beauty in the world around us. Sometimes it is a mighty storm, challenging our strength and resilience. But it is always a part of life's journey, a force that we must learn to navigate. It is the force that moves the sands of destiny, shaping the landscape of our lives. It is the unseen hand that guides us, if we are willing to follow its lead. If we learn to listen, we can hear its wisdom in the rustling leaves and the howling gales. If we learn to feel its direction, we can find our path even in the most turbulent times. Failure, when it comes, is not truly an end. It is a moment to pause and reflect. It is often a bend in the road, a detour that leads us to new opportunities and insights, a lesson disguised as a loss, teaching us resilience and the value of perseverance. It is a teacher, sometimes harsh but always wise, guiding us towards our true potential. It strips away the non-essential, leaving only what is truly important. It shows us what truly matters, the people and moments that define our lives. It tests our commitment to our dreams, pushing us to strive harder and reach higher. It forces us to look within, to confront our fears and doubts, to find the courage we did not know we possessed, and to trust the journey, no matter where it leads.